Now, you're a young man, Will, and no doubt you have lots of friends in your generation with whom you talk about this stuff. Do young people have the same fear of nuclear energy that we see in some of the, say, generations that grew up in the 50s and beyond?
Well, in terms of that, I think young people more broadly, this is myself included, haven't been exposed to some of the misinformation that we saw propagated in decades past, which, I can't comment as a 17-year-old on. And you look at it through The Simpsons and how nuclear is portrayed in pop culture. Obviously, it's not very science and facts-based when you look at it through that lens. But for young people, they've been able to see the facts and the science behind nuclear energy, and they're very pragmatic about those facts. And that means that they're more likely to support nuclear energy, and that's something that I've found through my experience setting up the first youth-led campaign for nuclear energy, Nuclear for Australia.
In my observation, young people now are told such a catastrophic version of the climate change narrative in their education that it almost makes the risks of nuclear seem to pale in comparison compared to the Armageddon they've been told is coming from climate change. So maybe that helps with that open-mindedness. Now, you've seen some research recently conducted by Compass Polling for the Menzies Research Centre about the public's understanding and appetite for nuclear energy. And it shows that from September last year through to now, the number of people who are strongly in favour of nuclear energy has only risen a touch by 1% from 14% to 15%. But the really interesting bit is that the number of people who oppose it has dropped substantially from 27% down to 18%. It sounds like that means there's a huge number of Australians who are undecided and who are primed for a conversation. They want to know more. Does that tell you that it's time for a conversation about this here?
I think it's certainly time for a conversation about nuclear energy. And what that polling also revealed, that 70% of Australians want nuclear energy in order to reach our emissions and energy security targets. So what's true is that not only do Australians want to have that conversation, but many of them are willing to see the legalisation of nuclear energy in this country. And some of them are even willing to support the establishment of a civil nuclear power industry here in Australia. What I say is really important is that Australians were never asked in the 1990s if they wanted nuclear energy to be banned. And based on these polling results, I think it's probably undemocratic, keeping the current ban in place. And I think it's a real indication to the government that they should seriously reconsider the prohibition as it is today.